I don't know if he needs an apology. He needs Zelensky to recognize the position that he's in.
Which to you is what?
We're their patron. We're their best hope for the killing to stop and for them to emerge from this sovereign and prosperous. And we're also their best hope as a business partner. I mean, all Zelensky had to do today was put on a tie, show up, smile, say thank you, sign the papers, and have lunch. That's it. And he couldn't do that. And this followed 10 days of being difficult in private and now 1 day of being stupid in public. This did not have to go down this way.
Okay.
And however you feel about why it started, why it's going on, who's right and who's wrong, we can help them in this and come out okay on the other side, and he's making it hard.
Now, first of all,
I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I actually agree with Scott. And everything that he said was basically right.
Wow.
I know. I'm going to get killed on social media for admitting that, but so be it. And the fact is that it doesn't matter whether Vice President Vance planned it or just took the opportunity to bait Zelensky. Zelensky took the bait, okay? Yeah. And he shouldn't have. He made a mistake.
After watching the Zelensky meeting today, there's one thing that I took away that I was not expecting to take away from the meeting is how proud I am of J.D. Vance. I don't ever remember in my lifetime a remarkable vice president. Like, there were vice presidents that I liked or disliked, but none of them stood out to me as someone standing on business or being willing to stand up for what most of us think and feel and want.
Yes, when you take a look at this, Ukraine President Zelensky demand $250 billion from Europe. If the United States stop funding this war, if the US stop giving us money, we would demand at least $250 billion from Europe. That is from frozen Russia asset. That is what Zelensky is doing now. He came like, I will do this. Then after, if the United States says, we are no longer funding you, he will now go off on Europe. It is extremely important to see what is going on. The guy is currently in the UK and they have given him $2 billion. Assure him, like, we will fund you till we don't know when.
Like what happened at the White House today.
Today, Donald Trump irreparably destroyed the 80-year-old post-World War II international order.
An Oval Office ambush of an American ally that will reverberate all around the world and stain America's image for years to come.
That was, to say the least, the most contentious confrontation between world leaders perhaps we have ever seen, certainly on television.
It was a truly historic moment, not in the good way. One that I fear realigned the world order, upending the only foreign policy consensus that most living Americans and Europeans have ever known.
I've never seen anything like that in my entire life. What I saw is a complete transformation of what the United States is in the world.
Certainly was a day of shame for the United States. That clip, the footage of the Oval Office meeting, is going to be shown for years to come by politicians, government officials, historians, university professors, because it very clearly captures the moment when the Trump administration sent a signal that it was ceding America's traditional global leadership role.
I don't think it's hyperbole to say we as a country have never quite seen anything like this particularly appalling spectacle before.
Diplomacy is not negotiating in public in a spray. The more I see the dialogue, the more I feel like Zelensky was ambushed.
This was an absolute disgrace.
What we just witnessed between Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and President Zelensky inside the White House was an ambush.
What a complete and utter mess. We don't gain anything by acting like bullies, and this is what bullies do.
I think there's no question that this was a setup. You heard Donald Trump say at the end of that clip you played, this is great television.
The president has made it clear always that both sides need to talk equally to bring both sides to the table to negotiate a deal. And, you know, in a good deal, any good deal, whether it's in business or in politics, both sides usually walk away a little bit unhappy. Unfortunately for Zelensky, I think he refuses to recognize the practical reality of this war. It's been going on for years. His countrymen are dying, and the people who have been funding this effort, the American people, are sick and tired of footing this bill. So it's a much different situation for him than it was 3 years ago. And as President Trump said today, he doesn't have any cards. The cards are not in his favor. They're in President Trump's favor. There's a new leader in the White House who has much different priorities than the last administration. He wants peace. He wants the war to end. And it doesn't seem like Zelensky wants that quite yet.
Yes, what I observe within the space of 48 hours on social media is extremely concerning. Liberals are terming it, this was a setup, this was an ambush. I don't know if you've seen this. I have a compilation of videos. I'm going to show you everything so you can see how crazy some people can be. Even former United States ambassador to the UN, Susan Rice, is another Democrat who believed that the heated exchange between Trump and Zelensky was a setup. At some point, I can't help but wonder, are Democrats rooting for America or for their bank account? That is a question that puzzles through my mind every single day. Yes, currently Zelensky is in the UK. They have given him $2 billion again as a loan to continue. They made it clear, like, we are going to fund you till we don't even know when it will end. This is to tell you that some of this globally, they don't want this to end. They want it to continue every single day.
Listen, let me tell y'all something. God bless President Trump and JD Vance, okay? First of all, America is the greatest nation. That's why everybody wants something from us. That's why everybody wants to come over here. For the past 4 years, we have been the laughing stock of the entire world. We have been being abused, misused, and we're taking care of shit that is not benefiting us, right? Look at how our president and vice president come together and let Zelensky know where he can get off.
Well, Nicole, obviously it's a very sad day and an embarrassment for the United States on the world stage. But let's step back and analyze what's happened here. I think there's no question that this was a setup.
Who needs to issue an apology tonight?
Absolutely. He should have done it already. He should have done it in the Oval Office. If you look at the totality of that meeting, 40 minutes of that meeting, dare I say it was a perfect meeting. And I'm being ironic in that a little bit. But it was positive, it was cordial, and it's on camera. It wasn't until Zelensky got upset with J.D. Vance when the vice president said, and he was absolutely correct, that the previous administration was more interested in vapid wordsmithing than they were in bringing an end to this conflict. They cared more about applause lines at Davos than they did in ending the war in Ukraine. And he was correct about that. Zelensky was upset, and quite frankly, he was testy throughout the entire meeting.
Was upset.
Yes, when you listen to people on both sides, people who don't like Trump will say, oh, this is the highest day in the United States history that this has happened, that they have their own way of talking. Oh, this was an ambush. Oh, this was a setup. This is a language they are using. White people who actually like what Trump is doing and want America to succeed will stand up to say, we don't want our money to go out to this again. They have fought this war over and over. When I look at even CNN polls today, majority of Americans believe that the money they have given Ukraine is enough. It is high time they stop. This is coming from CNN. People are tired. Zelensky coming in was something, to me, Trump should not be someone that Zelensky should be pretending like he doesn't know. He should know who Trump is. I understand he wanted to play strong so things can backfire, so other countries can pity now and come in to continue to fund the war. That is what Zelensky wanted. Immediately going to the UK, now he demands 250 million if United States refuse to continue with him. He wants 250 billion from Russian asset in Europe. So you understand the strategy he's playing around.
All right, so, but what else is going on? Not much. What? Well, I can't, nothing comes to mind. In World War III news, we're on the other side now. I don't know if you've heard that. Zelensky was in the Oval Office to discuss the big turnaround that the country has done, where Trump says now he's the dictator.
This is something that is going on. The way people are handling this, I didn't want to share my opinion on this because sometimes it doesn't even matter, but I just have to show you these clips.
CNN's Kaitlan Collins was in the Oval Office for this meeting. Kaitlan, it's hard to imagine a scenario in which this could have gone worse. This seems to be a dream come true for Vladimir Putin.
Well, it's not an overstatement for sure to say that it is one of the most astonishing moments that we have ever seen happen inside the Oval Office, between these world leaders essentially shouting at one another by the end of this, devolving into, at points, Trump and Vance berating Zelensky for saying that he was not being grateful enough for the aid that the United States has provided to Ukraine, and Zelensky arguing back that they do not understand Putin, essentially, that he will violate any agreement if the proper guarantees aren't in place. That seemed to particularly incense Trump, as he was saying, don't tell us what we're going to feel. Zelensky has been arguing that Putin will not stop with Ukraine, that he will go on to other Eastern European nations, including Poland, as he made the argument there. And Trump was essentially pushing back on that and telling Zelensky that he had no cards and that he needed to make a deal. And at one point, I think the most striking line from that could foreshadow what the rest of these talks are going to look like, what this press conference could look like if we still see these world leaders come out where they were supposed to sign that deal, is the president said to Zelensky, you either make a deal or we are out. Minerals are in the east of Ukraine, not far from the front lines and in areas that Russia has occupied.
The American people are not going to fund this war any longer.
If you are not guilty of anything, you will not panic. Yes, thank you guys for always been sharing out my videos. God bless you abundantly. If you see videos after this, please don't focus on that. That is just for the algorithm. You can end here.
So last night, Sean Hannity aired his sit-down with the world's most powerful man.
And a thug who is the president of the United States, U.S., it's everywhere.
There is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse within a system.
Audits. A chance to see what happens when you take a business approach to the government.
Also, I got to say,
Don't you agree?
I totally agree.
Essential.
Early on, immediately.
She's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10 to her.
The EU does not treat the U.S. fairly on trade and that he has some big complaints. Is that true?
Right? And it doesn't mean that we should sit and pretend that it's suddenly okay, that this new presidency is just going to keep on keeping on. That is not the case. And
awful things have happened. So and sparks move things. And it doesn't matter how much water you have.
Future president and his gag are
quality and policy.
The city of the Pacific Palisades is burning. And, I flew here last night. I was on a plane.
You getting water to areas that need...
He's been trained his whole life to do.
What do we do?
all right, right now you're looking...
History, remember it.
As a country about James.
Yeah, and then I think all our tax dollars probably went for Gavin's hair gel. I don't know.
Jim Jordan.
Josh Green, the governor.
Watch the news or talk.
Now, look, I have a lot of...
The Democratic Party has about everything.
The next department that appears to be on the chopping block is the Department of Education. Just earlier today...
Thank you. Hey, now speaking of church, can I...
In common, they're all terrified of Ronan Farrow.
Literally right next to us was Taylor Swift. Those are boobs.
In the world.
The last time he was, I think in
Trump stuff, it's so obvious.
Yes.
Really tense, Zelensky's body language, very tense, new